It's really complicated because we're born in Nigeria. So before even knowing Europe, we knew Africa.
Guys, my name is Robin. I'm 26 and I'm the brother of Fleur.
And my name is Fleur and I'm 28. He's the co-owner of Yaka and Respect Foods.
And she's the owner of Boul Accra, the French bakery in Senegal, Ghana. I arrived in Ghana when I was 16. So after living for 5 beautiful years in Senegal, and I was in high school here in a little French school located in East Legon, where I did my 2 last years. And after that, I was lucky enough to go and study abroad in Paris.
I graduated from high school in Senegal. I was 17 years old. After that, I went to France and I studied in Paris.
And it was a big change moment for me, but super interesting as well. I had 5 very nice and different years that I never really experienced before.
I was very lucky because my school was offering opportunities each year to go and study abroad. Everything was not given. I studied and I always worked after my studies. So I worked in a restaurant, in a shop, I worked in a nightclub, I worked in a bar. I did tons of jobs to be able to go abroad. So I went to Taiwan, I went to the States in Chicago and San Francisco, and I went to Peru in South America. After my studies, I stayed in Peru and worked in a lawyer office for 1.5 years. And then I decided it was a time for me to take a change. So that's when I found a job here in Ghana for a South African agribusiness company. I worked for them for another 1.5 years. And then that was time for me to concentrate 100% on the bakery project. The bakery was founded 2 years ago by my mom and our nanny, because my mom was never happy about the bread that she could find here in Accra. So her and my nanny started baking bread for our family. Then the guests will always ask, where did you get your bread? And little by little, 2 of them started to bake actually for neighbors or friends. And then when I came in at a point, I was like, guys, there's something we can do here. Right now we're putting all our efforts on doing a small ecological transition, such as, so before we were using only 200 gram butter that everyone finds in the supermarket. And of course you can imagine the amount we're using and throwing each packaging one after the other. And now we find a super solution. There's a new dairy farm. She brings us the butter in a certain packaging that when we finished, we clean, and then we give it back to her. So there's 0 packaging, locally produced butter that replaces our old imported one. And also our second transition is, okay, we all use the soap, the dish soap that is called Sunlight. It's in a plastic bottle, and we really want to avoid that. So now we have transitioned to using the soap bars for the dishes from She and Coco, which is also locally produced and completely natural. We will hope to more steps in the future, but it's really a point we're working hard on. People always think being an entrepreneur is something about freedom and happiness, but okay, mind you, I'm very happy and I'm very free, but it's also hardworking and a lot of sacrifices. And when I look back into the 2 last years, I think I didn't sleep a lot and I have been working more than I ever worked before, but the end result is just, I'm super happy and super proud of what we're doing. I mean, in Europe, when you are an entrepreneur, it's like, oh my gosh, you're so brave. Yes, but here everyone's an entrepreneur. From the lady that is selling, I don't know, powdered milk in the street, she's an entrepreneur. So it's crazy how strong people are here, because if they don't have a job, no problem. Tomorrow I wake up and I'll do my own business.
Yaka was launched a year ago, and so today we have 3 different kinds of chili pepper. We have 4 different kinds of jams where there's up to 85% fruit content, so not a lot of sugar. And the honey is an interesting story because it's honey made with moringa. So the bees feed themselves with moringa because it's located in a moringa farm. So they actually take the nectar of the moringa, plus they eat also the moringa powder that we put next to the beehives. Then came Respect. Respect is what? It's a brand that is having different kind of superfoods. With Respect, we're working with a large number of farmers around the country, and we're lucky to have really good raw material with what we can do some nice mixes and things that you can put in your smoothie and your juices to give a little bit of healthy thing in your life. The idea of launching this company was really so the name of the company is Kenyo, Growing Africa. So to grow Africa, you have to do things here, and that's why our manufacturing plant is here. The raw material are from here. So all the chain is done here. All the transformation, all the added value, before potentially exporting it. Yeah, I'm not the only one in the company. We are 5 founders. So funny enough, we all had this little seed in our head, and it developed and grew at the same time, which is quite beautiful, I would say. The goal of Yaka would be to avoid any African to go in Europe and see that nothing is really represented in a supermarket there. That if you want to find something from home, you have to go in a specific area where there's a specific seller that is importing from his aunties and No, that you can go in a normal supermarket, and the same way that you will find soya sauce from Asia, or the same way that you can find burritos and tacos and whatever Tex-Mex product, you can also find African products that are beautiful, well done, quality, and representative of the culinary art and world we have here that is very rich.
We're born in Nigeria, so before even knowing Europe, we knew Africa. So, I mean, my first images of Nigeria, for example, is how beautiful the nature was. I always remember every Sunday we would go to the beach, and then whenever we had holidays, we would go in the bush.
Yeah.
And have walks in the bush.
Growing up in Nigeria, we used to do gymnastics together. It was also a very nice episode of our life because we were going to the national championships. One was in Enugu.
Yeah, we represented Nigeria.
We started just representing our school, but then later on it went up. I mean, it was nice. It was, sleeping in places where we'll be plenty, the whole team is there, there's such a good cohesion,
So my father is French, and my mom is Armenian, has Armenian origins. And I think that Armenian people are working people. And I think my mom got those genes because before us, she went through an incredible adventure. She came to Africa, she worked in coffee, she worked for crazy stuff, and she was always on her own. And she had no link with Africa. I mean, she's born in Lebanon, then she grew up in France, then after she went to study in the States. And she always created a business in all the different countries we went to.
Yeah.
So in Nigeria, for instance, she had a real estate company. Plus, she was also framing and sculpting and painting. I mean, she's very creative. And then in Senegal, she opened her shop of motorbike parts.
After fighting for years and years with my father and I, because we were doing motorbikes, she was like, you know what? To fight your enemy, you have to know your enemy.
So I will open a motorbike shop, which worked super well. And she didn't need to be hired by someone to have a job, let's say. So she always pushed us. I remember I was 16 and I had this crazy idea of organizing events.
Yeah.
And no one believed in me, only my mom. And my mom said, go ahead, organize events. So I was organizing events for kids. And it really worked well. I remember I did huge money. I mean, for a kid, of course.
She also taught us, success is not one time. If you don't succeed the first time, why not? There's 99 numbers after one, right? Go second, third, stand up, cry, stand up, go give it another try.
Never give up. This is something important.
And when we were younger, my sister and I had the chance to go on a trip with my parents from Nigeria to France. So passing by Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Burkina Faso, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, take the boat from Morocco to go to Spain. Spain, France. France, there's a city called Le Havre, where there's a harbor, and we put the car there, bring it back to Nigeria.
And we stayed in France for summer.
And we stayed in France. But during that time, we were going to school. And so my mom was doing school in the car.
Yeah, so I wrote a book of all our journey. So drawing and writing every day, like a diary. And so mathematics was calculating the kilometers we were doing every day. Or, for example, if we go to a speed of 50 kilometers per hour and we have this distance to do, how long are it's going to be?
Geography was all the little cities we were passing, what are all the capitals of the country neighboring, where we're going.
The languages. Then we were learning about the cultures.
So we used to sleep on the roof of the car.
Yeah.
So 4 of us.
And look at stars.
Yeah, look at stars and actually
learn about
astrology
and so during this adventure we did plenty others. I mean, my parents are travelers, really, so we followed them during all our childhood, but this particular trip really taught us that actually you don't really need to sit on a chair in school to learn, and that traveling opens so much your spirit when you have the opportunity to travel, of course. Opens so much your spirit, just meeting some people from other culture also, understanding that your culture is not the only one in the world, and that your culture is not the best in the world neither. And it took us 1 month and 10,107 kilometers.
I remember one day one car almost hit one of my friends, and in another country the guy would go down and be like, "Oh, are you okay?" And here he went down to slap him or like to tell him like, take care and beware of what you're doing. It's something, it's not like, "Oh, my little darling, next time you don't do that." No, it's more like, "Hey, if you do it again, I'll beat you," right? It's always like bam, bam, bam. So this is something that I would experience when I was younger.
What we were doing every day is so different from what the other kids would do in France. I think I had more freedom a kid in France could have, because in Nigeria, for example, we were playing outside all day long, football, whatever, bicycle, scooter, or I don't know. And when we wanted to do this when we were in France, I remember the parents of my friends would be like, "Oh no, be careful, you cannot be in the streets like that." And I'm like, well, weird. why?
It's funny to see how it's different in, for instance, in a little park in Europe where you go and you see the mother with the kid. The kid didn't even fell yet, that the mother is already, oh, are you okay, my darling?
But in the same time, this culture shock was very, wow, you live in Africa? But do you have houses there? Do you know what a cell phone is? And like, guys, you cannot believe, I think for this point, sometimes they're more advanced than what you are. I know for some other people it can be a traumatic experience. We were maybe privileged and lucky enough to be able to take it on the fun side, because we would play. Yes, we go to school on an elephant. Yes, I don't know. We would invent crazy stories that at the end, as kids, would just make us laugh.
We have to really focus on what can we do with what we have here, more than looking at what we can import or what is the neighbor doing in the Western countries. And I would definitely motivate everybody to start something. Yeah, Ghana is beautiful. I mean, people are very nice, welcoming, hard workers. So yeah, let's go for it.